to be really honest. I have to tell you that I got the life that I had been dreaming about for 20 years, and I'm actually just still scared. And a lot of that has to do with money and prices going up and my unstable entrepreneurial endeavors. Today, I want to talk, though, about my firm belief that the best is not behind you, it's not behind me. And just because the process and the road is really bumpy toward what you're trying to do, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing it. And I believe that it's worth betting on yourself, it's worth betting on myself, and it's worth betting on beauty. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm glad you're here. So I'm sitting on my rooftop in Portugal. I've been living here for several years. I live at the beach. I never dreamed that I would be able to live at the beach, but it was a long-term dream of mine to live abroad. And I am living abroad with my family of 7. And I get to live in a beautiful place, and I have a residency path that I'm on. But I'm still scared, and the fear has to do with just how, despite getting this dream and successfully launching from the US, though it was a bumpy ride, we're here, but I can't seem to make my business make money. And my husband has a job, and that's wonderful. Living abroad, though, we deal with exchange rates, and he makes US dollars, and the power of the dollar has gone down for reasons that we will not discuss in this video, but we're making less than we were making before. This is one of those situations where you feel like your dream, like finally getting that dream, is going to answer your problems. I wonder if this is still okay. I hope so. It's windy out here. Where like you have had this long-term dream, you finally get it, and then nothing's perfect, right? And there are always still problems in life. So I don't know if you have ever had something that you've longed for and dreamed about for a long time, like marriage or having a child or a particular job. For me, it was living abroad, and it was a dream that for a while I just thought wasn't going to happen. And then we did make it happen, but here I am, and I'm still afraid. You know, life has problems always, everywhere, in every circumstance. And the reality of getting what you were hoping for, there are so many beautiful things about it, and there are so many things that are still really hard because living is hard. So if you've ever gotten what you were dreaming for and then sort of had a little bit of a shock to your system, just of the new problems that it brought, or the things that you were worried about that you thought would be solved, I would love it if you comment, because I know that this is a human problem. Yeah, and I think people in this community would love to hear from you if you can relate. I wanted to share these song lyrics with you that are going to be guiding this next series of videos about betting on beauty. Yesterday, I shared that I had a lot of feelings come up about having 100 videos here on Instagram. Oh my gosh. Woo! 100 videos on YouTube, and how that brought up a lot of feelings of inadequacy and embarrassment and just really surprising feelings. If you want to start there, that would be a great place to start yesterday's video. But what I'm going to be talking about and what I'm going to be reminding myself of over the next few days is this belief that I have that betting on beauty, betting on yourself is worth it. And I'm going to read you some, hello, birdies. I'm going to read you some of my favorite lyrics from an Irish band called Kingfisher that I really love. Oh, don't go tell me that the best that you had is behind, and don't believe them when they tell you you're out of your mind. Your obligation is to work out what's right and what's wrong. Our great obsession is to end up just where we belong. 'Cause it ain't fair and it ain't easy when you're trying to fight the pain. So bet on love, bet on beauty, on the chance to rise again. And this video today is just about betting that there is good to come, betting on myself, on the chance to rise again. And, I pursued one dream and it was really hard and bumpy, and I'm here in this beautiful place. I have the privilege to live here, and that dream has been realized. And I want to keep betting on myself. So first I want to talk though about what does bet on beauty look like when you are struggling financially? Like, what does that practically look like? How realistic is it? And I would say that even if your circumstances look dark, or for me, I've tried a lot of things in my business, they have failed at making money anyway. And I want to keep betting on beauty. I want to keep working toward my goal of having a career doing business that lights me up. And so for me right now, betting on beauty when you're financially struggling really reminds me of my friend who has a great channel you should follow, Jessie, the storyteller. And she was saying, we always think of self-care as like a spa or things that you have to pay for, like treat yourself. I love the treat yourself clip from Parks and Rec, but we think of it as like, oh, to do good self-care, I need to have a beautiful home, or I need to have a renovated home. I need to have this, I need to have that. Like all of these things, especially in the US, we have really equated self-care with money and like literal beauty and beautifying things and beautifying ourselves. And I don't think that is necessary. I don't think that you need a lot of money to bet on beauty, to lean into finding beauty in your life. And what Jessie was saying is self-care at its core is self-love. It's not, let me go to the spa and spend tons of money. Self-care means you figure out ways to love yourself. And those don't have to cost a lot of money. For me, one of the ways that I have loved myself is not rushing. I really, as a person with ADHD, I was late diagnosed. I really don't like rushing. It sends me into this stress spiral, having to have a life that's super, super rigid with time, and having to just hurry through my tasks like they're an emergency. One of the ways that I practice self-love is I don't do that. I don't overbook my schedule anymore. I don't make myself get up super, super early so I can achieve. And I know that there's a degree of privilege in that, but everybody has the ability to make some choices to make their life more loving to themselves. And I say that as a mom of 5, as a woman whose mom has Alzheimer's, and I'm trying from across an ocean to help my dad. Like, I have a lot of circumstances that make it hard to choose myself, but I keep trying. So I think that betting on beauty for me, that keeps me going. And some of betting on beauty means these were some flowers that were almost expired as far as like some of the parts were wilting. And so I grabbed them for the cheap price that they were, and then I took out the wilty ones and I put it together and made it beautiful. And then it turned out I was accidentally celebrating my 100 days that I hadn't realized, 100 videos that I hadn't realized that I had surpassed. Choosing beauty and seeking it out and finding it wherever you can find it, especially when your circumstances are stressful and when everything, just the needs of everyone else, especially I'm talking to you, woman in your 40s or 50s. So many seagulls, I don't know if you can hear them. Women in their 30s and not really 30s to 50s, like it's a really intense time of life depending on how old your kids are, if you have kids, if you're helping with your aging parents. It's a lot. It's really hard to make space for yourself during this time. And the needs, like, we could just continue to give. Like, I love to be there for the people in my life, and I will continue to do that. I feel absolutely sure. But can I also make space for myself and for my own dreams? And so I want to talk about how I accidentally manifested this life abroad. And I know that that might sound strange. I didn't realize it until I started really digging in a little bit more into the neuroscience behind what manifestation actually is. And quite simply, it is teaching your brain what's important to you and what to pay attention to. Because our brains have these powerful filters that help us not hear. My ADHD brain, I think my filters is a little bit off. I'd like to look into that. But, theoretically, you can filter out the seagull that will not shut up in the background. For example, when you're in a restaurant, you can filter into the person that you're talking to, and you can filter out the other voices. That's another thing that I can't do very well as a person with ADHD. But my point is the same. Our brains cannot be thinking of all the information all the time, and so they learn to filter out what's not important. And so that means they filter in what we have taught our brains is important. So there's something called the reticular activating system. Hang in here with my neuroscience nerdery, because this is actually really applicable to you if you have dreams and you have no idea how to get there. You don't have to know how to get there to manifest something. And in my experience, what happened was that I taught the RAS, my reticular activating system, that moving abroad was important to me. This was about a decade ago. I was really deep diving into stories of people who moved abroad, travel content, what it was like to live abroad, what it was like to live a remote lifestyle or a digital nomad lifestyle. I was exposing myself to podcasts, to Instagram posts, to YouTube videos. And because I was exposing myself to all those things, my brain started to recognize it as important and then began seeing different connections and different opportunities than I knew were out there, because I had in my mind this very, very rigid belief that if I wanted to live abroad, because I didn't have a career at the time, My husband needed to get a corporate transfer to his company, but in a different country. And so we tried pursuing that. And you can hear about our story and the very bumpy way that we made our launch abroad here, start here. But ultimately, what I was doing was I was teaching that part of my brain to notice connections. And it started to give me new ideas and show me that there were actually different paths to move abroad than just that corporate transfer, and that there were other ways to make it work. So, most simply, the reticular activating system is like, you know, how when you're thinking about buying a new car, and maybe it's a Volkswagen Jetta, then you begin to see Volkswagen Jettas everywhere. Before, your brain was filtering out all that extra noise that it didn't deem important. But when you started thinking about Jettas and different colors of them and how much they cost, and you're really like looking on the car sites for Jettas, your brain goes, oh, this is important. And so then that's why you start seeing them everywhere when you never saw them everywhere before. It's not that there were all of a sudden so many Jettas on the road. In my case, it's not that all of a sudden these doors opened up for me that weren't in existence before, but I couldn't see the doors. I couldn't see the connections and the pathways to move abroad except for that one really obvious pathway to me that didn't end up working out. So when I say I accidentally manifested moving abroad, when I heard Dr. Tara Schwartz talk about manifesting and what your brain is actually doing, because she's a neuroscientist, it made so much sense to me, and I was able to look back and realize that actually I had gone through this very practical process of priming my brain for manifesting this dream of living abroad. And, you know, manifestation, I think, gets this reputation of being woo-woo or, and I'm sure that there's some methods that are woo-woo. Dr. Tara Schwartz would talk about, like, this doesn't mean you sit on your couch and do nothing and wait for a $20,000 check to come in the mail. Like, that's not manifestation. Like, hoping is not manifestation. But there are these very, very tangible things that you can do and take action toward that will get you moving toward your goals. So, knowing that, and knowing that I accidentally did it before, and knowing that I have some dreams right now that have not yet been achieved, I really want to do this again, but on purpose. And so I would love it if you come along for the ride as I grow this channel and this community, to monetize this channel, to create things that are in line with what I care about and hopefully what will serve you. I'm actually working on a workbook that details out what worked for me before and then figure out how to apply that to my current entrepreneurial dreams, my current dreams of building multiple incomes so that we can feel more financially stable in our lives as a family of 7 with a lot of needs. I can't pay for my kids' $5,000 braces right now. I can't pay for my other kids', it's all the teeth things, my other kids' like tooth replacement right now. There are things that aren't necessities, but are important, you know, and that I want to be able to provide for my kids. I want help. I have kids with developmental delays that will live with me forever unless they have like a group home situation. And I want help, and I want to be able to pay for help. So those are some of the very practical things that make me want to keep trying with my business. What are the neuroscience principles that I used accidentally to make this huge, massive dream come true of moving 7 people abroad. What did I do? And can I take some of those principles and recreate them for myself right now as I try and work toward a business where I'm using my gifts and I'm not having to do something that I really dislike or just feels like it drains me. I know this is possible. I've seen other people do it. So anyway, I hope that if you have dreams, you will join me, and I'll let you know when the manifestation workbook is ready. Now, I want to go back to those song lyrics. There's the part that says, "Don't go tell me that the best that you had is behind, and don't believe them when they tell you you're out of your mind." And you know, I have had much less experience with other people telling me I'm out of my mind, and much more experience with my inner critic telling me that I am completely out of my mind for desiring this, for believing that I could achieve it. My inner critic sounds a lot like, "You already had this dream realized. You should just be thankful for what you have." And I am thankful. But it's okay to still want things. Glow mentioned that in a video the other day, Glow Atonmo. You can have desires and still be thankful. I talk a lot here about the both hands principle. We hold grief in one hand and joy in the other. Like, life is all of these things, right? So I am grateful for this place and for the beauty that it provides for me. And I have a lot of things that are not resolved and that I still have dreams to feel more stable, and it doesn't feel stable right now. Another thing that my inner critic says to me is, especially because of my really high, intense religious background, you don't deserve anything good, because anything that isn't punishment, you should feel lucky for. Not helpful. That's not helpful. I have this nagging voice that says, like, you don't deserve to have more. You don't deserve to want more. Again, it's like another version of you should be thankful for what you have, but it's got these like religious undertones of you actually just deserve punishment because you're a sinner. So I don't want to get into a theological conversation today, but I think that there's room for desiring goodness and beauty in your life and not feeling like it's because you're so great, so you deserve it, you know? But because like you want your life to reflect God, you want your life to show off, like, God has been so gracious and has done amazing things for me. And like, I do believe that God has helped us along. So that inner critic voice and that like residue from really like fear-based religion, it gets in the way for me sometimes. And then the other thing that my inner critic says has to do with my late diagnosed ADHD. And it's that voice that says, you're inconsistent. You don't have what it takes to do this. You never finish anything that you start. You aren't built for this. Those are very unhelpful. Your inner critic is unhelpful. And here's why I don't listen to my inner critic. Your inner critic is like a function of your nervous system, of your habits, of your trauma, of your experiences. It's sort of a lot of those things, but your inner critic is literally only wanting to keep you safe. So something I find helpful to do sometimes when I'm in a better mood with my inner critic instead of F you is like imagining my inner critic to be like a very scared toddler. Like, don't do it. And, um, you know, your inner critic it's trying to keep you safe because it's uncomfortable to grow. It's uncomfortable. It puts you in new situations. Like, what if I had listened to my inner critic that said, there's no way that a family of 7 can move abroad and not just have it be a corporate transfer? Like, what if I had said, nope? And I did for a long time. I listened to the inner critic, and but I'm here now, and I have enough to eat, and I have a place to live, and we have the issues that I've already mentioned, but what if I hadn't followed that dream? I think I would have been at the end of my life and regretted it. I would have regretted never pursuing this. So, anyway, pat, pat, pat. Thank you, inner critic. Thank you, buddy. I know that you're just trying to keep me safe. And I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm not in danger right now. I'm going to keep trying to grow and change and move into new spaces that challenge me. That's what I do when I'm in a good mood. And I don't want to just tell my inner critic to F off. Because it is like your very, very normal, natural, primal instincts trying to keep you safe. And so it's throwing anything it can at you to try and get you it's trying to prevent you from disaster, right? It's afraid. Your inner critic is afraid. And I don't like to live based on fear. And there's room for helping your nervous system and helping your body expand what it can handle and try like new things and see that they don't kill you. Like sometimes it's just too much to handle. It's too much to handle. It's too big of a change. So that's partially what I'm going to address in the manifestation workbook is we incrementally increase our ability to handle new things. And we can't just jump off and expect us to be able to handle it. So that's why I don't trust my inner critic, because it's trying to keep me safe, but it doesn't actually know what I'm doing. Like it's not a very like high level thinking. Like it's a very primal impulse. I'm trying to move from the accidental manifestation that happened. I accidentally manifested quite a beautiful life, as you can see. I mean, look at where I live. It's incredible. I'm so thankful. It's more than I could have imagined. So I'm trying to move from that crapshoot accidental kind of manifestation to intentionally manifesting, because now I know that it's a thing, it's a neuroscience thing, to manifesting a business that can help support my family with multiple income streams. And I hope a community of people like you who are interested in dreaming still, despite everything. Can we keep dreaming? Because this is our only life. This is what we have been given. I don't want us to come to the end of our lives and regret not having tried. And trying is very hard, and that's why we need a community for it. So I want to leave you with this very interesting visual. It's an example of my accidental manifestation and why I see that it's real and I know that I can do it again. I mean, I see that it's real because I'm sitting here, but also this is really wild. I'm going to show you this picture. It is a calendar that I had right when I was beginning to dream again, like maybe we could live abroad. And the calendar has this ship, as you can see, and it says, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. And that is my longtime brand, One Daring Adventure. It's a quote by Helen Keller. And it actually is super interesting. I think I'll get into that quote a different day. But the ship I didn't actually like the visual, to be honest. I just hung it up and then I framed it because I love the quote. And a few years after we had moved here, so that would have been a good 8 years after I had that calendar and art up in my house, I looked at the side of my house here and there was a ship. Very similar vibes, very similar color scheme. And it's on the outside of my house. Not every house in this neighborhood has painted tiles on the outside. I don't think I've seen any others that have a ship. And it's this house that I'm living in now. Um, and the reason I hung up that art when I did is because that was a dream of mine. I wanted to live a daring adventure. I wanted to live abroad. I had no idea how it would happen. I didn't know I was manifesting. It was a reminder of the hope and the beauty that I wanted to bet on in the future. And I just think it's the most amazing synchronicity. I don't know how to explain things like this. Obviously, it's beyond my mind's control, right? Brains can do a lot, but there are beautiful things waiting for you. There were beautiful things waiting for me, and I couldn't have gotten here if I hadn't admitted the dream and been honest about the fact that it was still a longing of mine after 20 years and that I didn't want to let it die. So I hope that you'll join me. Whatever your dream is, whatever it is, not just entrepreneurship, but whatever it is that you are hoping for, that you aren't ready to let die. Sometimes dreams die. I mean, I've had 2 friends die of cancer. They didn't get to live out all of their dreams. So I'm a realist, and yet all the more because you are alive and I am alive today. Let's keep dreaming. Let's keep pursuing beauty and betting on beauty, even when we don't see how the pieces are going to come together. I'm Andy. I'm an artist. I'm a writer. I don't know what all I am, but I make YouTube videos and I'm going to be doing that regularly on this subject. I hope to see you tomorrow.